Now, the Turkish president spoke about Israel last month. These are the words he used: murderers, bloodsuckers, people with killing in their nature. This is how he described Israel and Israelis during the 11-day war with Hamas. Recep Tayyip Erdogan has now changed his tune. On Tuesday, he dialed Israel's new president and stressed on the importance of dialogue, stable ties, the potential for cooperation. What explains this shift? Here's a report.
In May 2021, when tensions between Israel and Palestine were at their peak, the Turkish president had this to say about Israel's actions in a televised speech. They are murderers to the point that they kill children who are 5 or 6 years old. They're only satisfied by sucking blood. This is in their nature. Not only were the remarks anti-Semitic, they revealed the deep animosity that Erdogan harbored for the state of Israel. It's been less than 2 months, and the same leader wants to end the frosty ties between the two nations. On Tuesday, Recep Tayyip Erdogan dialed his new Israeli counterpart, Isaac Herzog. The phone call lasted for a good 40 minutes. What did Erdogan have to say? A lot. According to the Turkish presidency, Erdogan stressed on the importance of stable ties for security and stability in West Asia. He underlined Turkey's emphasis on continuing dialogue despite differences of opinion. And he highlighted how there was a strong potential for cooperation between the two countries in the fields of energy, tourism, and technology. This phone call suggests a potential reset in Israel-Turkey ties. Reports say Erdogan's next conversation will be with Israel's Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. For a president who called Israelis bloodsuckers with killing in their nature, this is a major U-turn. What explains this change of heart? Perhaps the change of guard in Israel. Look at the ruling coalition. It spans from the far right to the far left. It also features Israel's Arab minority. This is not so much for Arab representation as for cobbling up the numbers for the government. Nonetheless, Arabs are in the Israeli government. And that could be an excuse for Erdogan, if he needs one, to justify his outreach to Israel. Plus, the rest of the region is engaging with Israel. It only makes sense to go with the flow. On the 11th of July, Jordan and Israel discussed a water-sharing deal. Israel announced that it would sell 50 million cubic meters of water to Jordan, the second most water-scarce country in the world. On the 13th of July, reports said Israel and Morocco were discussing an official visit of Yair Lapid, the current foreign minister and future prime minister of Israel. And on the 14th of July, the UAE opened an embassy in Tel Aviv. The Israeli president said those interested in peace will be welcomed with open arms.
This historic agreement must be extended to other nations and countries seeking peace with Israel. We are a nation of peace, and those who are interested in peace with us will be welcomed with open arms.
Netanyahu steered Israel's peace deals with the Arab world. His exit has not hurt the momentum. Neither has the 11-day war with Hamas. Erdogan, the politician, can see the sands shifting. For once, it's hard to question his logic. Talking to Israel makes sense. The sooner, the better. Bureau Report, WION. World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.